Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to be showing off some teams I used on stream on March 4th. These are two teams that I was really successful on. I had some decent runs in my other teams, but I really like these two. This first one is Shadow Machamp, Meganium, and G-Fisk. Both these teams have G-Fisk, so I'm sorry about that. But Shadow Machamp, obviously Shadow Machamp and Meganium are weak to flying, but Shadow Machamp can handle it decently well. Obviously, double weak to Azu as well, but you'll see how I play against those lines. I don't think I run to a flyer lead, but honestly, against a Skarmory lead, you just stay in. And Shadow Machamp is actually, I would say, pretty neutral with Skarmory. So this is a very, very, very tough lead here, right? So I'm going to see if they have Psycho Boost. They do, so I have to shield this. So I'm going to look to try to catch the second Psycho Boost onto Meganium. The good thing here is that because of the Psycho Boost, their counter damage is debuffed. So we're actually doing about the same proportion amount of damage there. I tried to catch there, but they were very good there in not throwing. So I am going to throw the Frenzy Plane here as a bait. And then I know Meganium is really tanky. I resist the Volt Switch. So I should be able to survive this and have enough to get to the Earthquake. So I'm able to just beat them to the lunge by half a turn, but they're honestly going to look to farm me down, especially now. Oh, actually, no, they actually don't farm me down. Interesting. Okay. They probably want to maintain the switch. So I'm actually just going to go in and farm down. I get the perfect farm down. They come into a Zoom roll. 2, 3. At this point in time, Machamp is like, it's somewhat useful to me, but really not that useful because the Psycho Boost would one-shot it. So as soon as they get to 7 bubbles, I'm just gonna look to switch. And if they bait me, that's totally fine too. I was hoping to take a Hydro Cannon, or not Hydro Cannon, Hydro Pump. So this Deoxys does have energy, but it's not so much the energy I'm worried about. It's really the counter damage that I'm worried about. And they actually Psycho Boost me super early here. I think they should have Psycho Boost last second. You can't Psycho Boost too late because then what will end up happening, okay. What will end up happening is that I'll throw the Rock Slide. So they just unload both Psycho Boosts here. So now I'm not worried at all. I'm just going to build up and look to farm down. And I wasn't sure if I need to double Rock Slide or Earthquake. So I sync the moves here. So this should be a CMP. But honestly, they shouldn't have thrown there anyways. But I sync the moves, and then now I know that I have to Earthquake, and I'm only 2 mud shots away, which means I'm only gonna take 1 bubble worth of damage. If I would have let a bubble go through, then I probably would have lost that game. So really close game, really tough first lead to deal with, but manageable on my side. So I had like a really good backline for their backline, but I wasn't able to line it up well, but we were able to take advantage of it. Okay, so this second game was really unfortunate here. Very unfortunate. So I do throw the cross shop right away because that's basically exactly when they finish the second Incinerate. So now they have enough for a Blast Burn. They have 80 energy. They come into Mew. I go into G-Fisk here, and now they start lagging. And I stop tapping. And I'm only tapping here because I'm just making sure that my game is updating. And at this point in time, I'm screaming at the game saying, please let them unlag. Yeah, not really too much here. It's very unfortunate. This actually would have been a really close game. I think I still would have won because I have a cross chop bang on Machamp. They do have 80 energy, so they're 1 away from a second Blast Burn. I wouldn't shield anything against this Mew, and I would just go straight EQ. So at this point in time, I think I just end up EQing them reluctantly. I always tell my students, lag gives and takes, so you should just do it. Like obviously in a self battle or some other competitive format where you can communicate with your opponent, then obviously you could replay it. But in this case, but for me, I try to give my opponents every chance to come back in the game, even if I'm like super close to legend or whatnot. So So obviously, Shadow Machamps would be pretty strong back here. Meganium does pretty neutral against Umbreon. Yeah, it would have been a close game, for sure. But I would have shown EQ versus the Mew, and just taken whatever moves. If they would have had Flame Charge, it would have been pretty close. I'm sorry, trainer, for who I fought. That sucks. All right, we're gonna go into this second game here, or third game here. It's a really good second game. Okay. All right, a little bit of weird. Okay, so Azu lead here, pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. So I throw the Rock Slide here because the Rock Slide would do a lot of damage, and they tend not to shield. And then if they don't CMP me here, then I'll go into. I tried to catch the Play Rough, but obviously they didn't throw it. And they go into Machamp. And I get a shield, which is great for me. I really need this EQ against this Machamp. Unfortunately, it has Power Up Punch. 2, 3, 4. Okay, all right. So they have another power. Normally I wouldn't shield this, but I really need this Earthquake. And I doubt that they're going to shield twice. So I go for the EQ. Just to put it into cross shop range. Okay, so they're at... so I think they over tap or they lag there. Because they should have been able to beat me to the Power Punch by 1. But I think we end up CMP tying here. I'm going to let this go. And I'm going to go straight into Meganium. I don't let them farm me down. This is definitely a pup. So I let it go. And then their last Pokemon actually ends up being a Bastiodon. So my entire team is really good against Bastiodon. So here, I'm going to farm up over in case the Azu comes in. Azu has like a good amount of energy. So I shield this. So Azu actually comes in. I'm not sure why they threw a move there, but I'm actually able to land the Friends Plant to take it out. So I think that when they try to switch, it like always initiates a fast move for some reason, unless you're like really precise on the switch. So all right. So that's how you deal with an Azu lead. Obviously, all three of my Pokemon are really good against Bastiodon, so that helps for sure. Okay, so Ferrothorn, obviously a fantastic lead for me. They switch out into Sableye. I was a little slow on the switch there, so I'm looking to try to get this extra Mud Shot through, and I do. They're definitely overcharged here, because they should have been able to get it to like one turn earlier, the Foul Play, so I don't give them back the Shadow Claw, which is really good for me. They end up no shielding this, but straight Rock Slide is the safest way to play this matchup. So we're basically, I think they're like 1 or 2 away. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. They're definitely not at 2. They might be 3 away. I should be able to beat them to this next one though, for sure. And they let it go, which is perfectly fine for me. And I'm going to look to EQ. Going to commit to the EQ. Not going to bail with a Rock Slide, even though they had the Power Whip beforehand. I'm just going to look to commit to the damage. And they obviously don't want to get hit by a move. I actually contemplate trying to catch a move there. But then they actually end up having Mirror Shot here. So I go to Machamp, and I try to catch the Power Whip here, thinking that they're going to Power Whip me, but they end up throwing the Mirror Shot at me, so which... and it actually drops my attack, which is very unfortunate. This should be another Mirror Shot. And I'm just going to build up a ton of energy. And they actually have Mandibuzz, which is actually really bad for me. Because, yeah, these Frenzy Plants are already resisted, but now they do 25% less. So I'm going to look to just to stall the clock. And I want to bank this Frenzy Plant for later. And I know I'm going to live this Aerial Ace because Aerial Ace is absolutely a terrible move. And so I have a Frenzy Plant banked. And I'm going to throw the Cross Chop bait here. The Cross Chop would still do a lot. And I probably don't even need to land a Rock Slide. I probably just need to throw 2 Cross Shots. But I go for the bait just for good practice. And I know I'm going to live in Aerial Ace here, so I'm not too worried here. And they try to come into Ferrothorn. They came into a counter. Then I was able to land 1 more counter. So I think I throw a Rock Slide here. But honestly, Cross Chop and a couple counters would have KO'd as well because it's neutral. Plus, I had a Frenzy Plant banked. So this is going to be a GG either way. Yeah, sorry for the video being so choppy right now. I actually am trying to process another video as well. So taking a lot of processing power on my side. Maybe I can turn a couple things off here. Whenever you render a video, it's just like it takes up so many resources. Okay. Okay, so here I make a mistake here. I honestly, I knew what the team was. It's Hypno Double Dark. So I know it's going to be a Scrafty in the back. Somehow I messed up this game here. I actually really want to review this game. So they land the foul play. I could have timed that a little bit better. I gave them like half a turn there. So I shield this, which makes sense. And I thought they needed like 4 more, but they got like 2 Snarls back to back there. That was weird. So my count's all off right now, and I give them an extra Snarl here, which is a total mistake. I gave them like a full turn. And then I decided to throw right away, which is so stupid of me. So I basically just gave them 2 Snarls, 2 like 1.5, yeah, basically 2 Snarls worth. So. And then I ended up losing this match because just my really poorly timed moves there. I was really confused, though, on timing of it. So then they're going to have Scrafty in the back, which is absolutely terrible for me. Yeah, if I had been able to line this up, it might have been close because I don't know what moveset this Shadow Hypno has. If it had Focus Blast, obviously I would be in trouble. But I'm going to land this EQ here. But this game is basically over. There's not really too much I can do. The Rock Slide, this pup will barely not KO. Actually, oh yeah, I'm not even able to get the move off. A little bit of lag here, but not a big deal. And I'm gonna be able to land this Rock Slide here. If I didn't be able to land a Rock Slide and a Cross Chop, that's actually like super close. Yeah, it would have been like, super close there. This Thunder Punch doesn't KO. But I can only get off the counter. So let's move on to the next team here, which is Venusaur, G-Fisk, and Sableye. Pretty balanced team. So this is obviously a really good lead. They come into G-Fisk, which is a little bit tough for me because I don't have a G-Fisk counter. I faced so many G-Fisks in this set with Venusaur. So the Frenzy Plant does an absolute ton of damage. So I believe I do shield this. And then I switch out. And I think they just... Okay. I think they end up shielding this and just going for another EQ. I think I no-shield this just in case they have Blizzard on Politoed. So I am able to Shadow Claw down just in time. And they come into Politoed on their side. And they're going to look to farm me down. And I think, honestly, I think, sorry. They have Skarmory in the back. So I do think they end up shielding this. Yeah, they have Skarmory in the back, and this game is over. Sorry, choking my coffee. All right. So, like, pretty straightforward match there. Obviously, the G-Fist switch-in was a little bit tough there, but that Frenzy Plant doing so much damage is super nice. So I face another G-Fist. So every time I see a G-Fist lead, I expect a couple different teams. Obviously, I expect Tropius in the back, which is a very strong pairing with G-Fist. So if I see a Pelipper eventually switch in, so I try to throw at 8, or basically when they get to the EQ, they Rock Slide bait me, which is totally fine. They got an extra Mud Shot through, so I think they're okay. Yeah. They have enough for the EQ. That's totally fine. They come into Drift Limb here, which is fine. I should have went. I potentially I thought about going to Sableye, but the thing is, like, Sableye really doesn't take the Shadow Ball that well from Drift Limb. So they Shadow Ball me here, which is totally fine. I should be able to make it to this Rock Slide before they make it to an Icy Wind. And I think I would live with Icy Wind anyways. So they end up letting it go. And they have Swampert. So I'm going to commit to this EQ here. So they do a really nice job of timing it. They throw basically at 7. Basically right when I get to it. Oh, and I take a Rock Slide here, which is okay. And I believe I Shadow Claw down here. 2, 3, 4. Okay, this should be just another Rock Slide. I have a Frenzy banked. They are 1 away from a Hydro Cannon. I think they end up just taking it. 5, 6. Okay. So they're like at the Hydro Cannon. And maybe like a little one short of the Hydro Cannon, actually. And I'm able to Mud Shot down. Very interesting team. And I go Venusaur into Metacham. And they go into G-Fist. I know this is going to be Metacham double steal. Or at least that's what I presume it to be. So I'm just going to go just match shields. And I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant here. Take out this. And then I think I actually end up double shielding and just farming down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they do get the Rock Slide here. If they would have baited me, then I would have thrown the Frenzy at them. So they go into Bastiodon here. I do let them get a free Smackdown, mostly because I'm almost at 100. 1, 2, 3. I decide to throw 3 Vine Whips to sync with their 2 Smackdown so they don't get an extra move through. And then that allows me to actually get to this Frenzy Plane here and basically pressure the last shield or take them out. And then I'm just going to switch right away into Sableye. And I'm in a really good spot here. I was waiting for them to throw a move through because I need to get to 2 anyways. And yeah, so Venusaur is a great core breaker for that Metacham double steal team. Venusaur is just really strong in general. Okay, Venusaur versus so many G-Fists I face with my Venusaur. And people play them all sorts of ways here. So I'm going to look to throw exactly when they have an Earthquake to prevent them from getting an extra move through. That also means I don't get an extra move through, but that's okay. I would only generate 8 energy. They generate 9, so it's a little bit better trade-off for me. So I expect this to be Tropius in the back. I think I end up no shielding this. They throw the Weather Ball. And I'm going to look to throw this Frenzy Plant and switch. And then look to sack a little bit later. So they have the energy for the Hurricane. I end up shielding it. I needed to shield one of these Weather Balls regardless. So I know it's 5 more for the Weather Ball. 2, 3. So they end up catching here. And I undercharge this move here. So I can perfectly Shadow Claw down this G-Fist so they don't get a move. And then I have a Foul Play ready. I think they're 2 away. They're 1 or 2 away. Anyway, so I'm able to take it out. Then here comes Azu. I'm not able to get to the return, which is slightly bad for me. And then I don't want to switch because I want to give myself the option to sack. So I think I count to 7. Or, I don't it doesn't matter here. I think they end up not having Hydro. If they had Hydro, then I would definitely lose this game here. But because they just have an Ice Beam, and like G-Fist is just absolutely broken here. I'm not even too worried about this Azumarill anymore. 2 Rock Slides would have did slightly more than an Earthquake. And then with the Mud Shot damage, probably would have been enough. But actually would have been really close. I think I needed to land an EQ and a Rock Slide anyway. So it ended up being a really nice call there. I only really won because they didn't have Hydro Pump. So it was a very, very nice win. And I believe I have one more game here. Let's see if we run into another Galarian Stunfisk. All right. I can't remember if we do. Okay, Ninetales. Okay, so this is a really good game here. So, obviously, this is a very bad matchup for me. I end up just throwing the Frenzy. I should really go up to the Sludge here. So that's very fortunate they let me get to it. I tried to catch onto G-Fist there, but didn't let me. And they're gonna be able to get back. And I don't understand, like I couldn't even do anything right there. I couldn't even tap my screen or potentially switch. So I end up building up energy here. And then I'm gonna look to catch the move. And I end up catching it on Sableye. And this appears to be a very stupid move, right? But it's really the only way I can potentially win this game. So I take the Weather Ball. I'm able to survive it. They come into Pelipper. I'm just barely able to get off this Foul Play, which is really great for me. For 5. So they exactly have enough for the Weather Ball. I doubt that they blind throw. So I go into G-Fist here, and then they end up blind throwing. So I know that it's going to be 5 to the next one. And my clock is just up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I sack here. And I know it's 5 more. I lose CMP. So I throw at 4. I know this Ninetales is not at a move. So I'm going to farm up a little bit. I don't want to get too greedy because I don't want to get hit by a Weather Ball. But I need a little bit of energy for potentially the next match. I have no idea what I can win. It ends up being Galvantula, which is really good for me. This doesn't KO, but puts it really, really low. And then another one would KO. And actually get an extra Mud Shot through. They end up throwing the Discharge at me. I would have won still, but definitely Lunge is the right answer there. And Lunge is like 6% more than... well, it does like 50% more, 60% more, basically like 55% more than what Discharge does, but it would have did like basically 6% more HP. So I end up winning the game there, coming back from a really tough lead, saving, like switching out and saving Venusaur for a sack later on. Actually end up like helping me win the game there. So sometimes you got to find your win con. Hopefully you enjoyed those battles. If you did, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.